I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to manifest what you want without knowing how. Because what most people do is they get caught up in the how, the step-by-step process, the logical structure that they need to follow in order to manifest what you want. Now I'm here to tell you in this video, you don't need to know the how, you don't need to know the logical structure. If you tap into your own alignment and who you really are, the structure will naturally come to you in a way that your logical mind can't always even understand how it's happening, yet it is happening, and it's happening in front of you in the most effortless way possible. And not only in the most effortless way possible, but there's also going to be an excitement to the process, and it's going to be very blissful, and you're going to be having a lot of fun in the process as well. So that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in this video. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button, I want you to hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video. It's also going to be in the comments of this video as well. I'm only taking a few clients, so if you do want to work with me, be sure to apply as soon as possible. Now, the first thing that I want to share with you in terms of how to manifest what you want without knowing how is to know what you want. Okay, it's very critical that you know what you want, because you don't need to know how you're going to get there, but you do need to know where you're going. See, most people in society are like a flying bag in the wind. They don't live with intention. They don't know what they want. They don't know what they're going. Somebody has decided for them what they actually want. And this is a huge problem, because deep in your heart, you know what you want, but when you give your power away and somebody decides for you, what happens is that you're still manifesting, universal intelligence is still flowing through you, but what's happening is that somebody has decided for you what you want, you think you want it, and that's what consciousness is actually doing, is it's playing out you giving away your power and you manifesting something that you don't even want. But you think you want it, so you're manifesting it, and that's what you know that you want in that sense, but you haven't consciously decided. So what you want to do to manifest what you want, the first step to manifest what you want without knowing the how, is to actually know what you want. Okay, once you know what you want, once you get into that level of knowing that this is what I want, no matter what, in this moment, right now, that can change maybe in the future, but in this moment now, what feels the most resonant to me? What do I truly want in this moment now? Once you can start to identify what you want in this moment right now, what starts to happen is that already life starts to align you with that reality. Instantaneously, you start to manifest it. But you have to hold that long enough and keep it in your mind's eye and have a desire for it, and the desire has to be strong enough in order for you to actually see it manifest, because you have to follow through. But if you don't know what you want and you're kind of half and half, you're not really committed to your desire, you're like, yeah, maybe this will be fun, maybe this is what I want, but I'm not really sure, what's going to happen is that you're going to have a hard time manifesting, because your energy is going to be very fragmented. You're going to be very all over the place. See, your heart wants one thing, yet you're doing all these other things, and then you're doubting the process. And I'm not saying this is you in particular, but there has to be a level of commitment and focus and dedication and motivation to go in one particular direction, to put that life force energy and put it in a certain direction in order to manifest what you want. So the first step is to know what you want and be fully committed, at least in your mind. I'm not saying you have to do anything that you don't want to do action-wise, but just know in your mind to the very least what you want. Decide that you want something. Decide that you want to be a certain way. And that's the first step to knowing what you want without knowing the how. Now, the second step that you really want to follow in terms of how to manifest what you want without knowing the how, without knowing how you're going to get there, yet it's still happening to you in the most effortless way possible, is number two, to let universal intelligence flow through you. Now, what does this mean? This is a fancy way of saying that you don't need to think in order to do. You don't need to think in order to do. You just have to do. But what is it that's allowing you to do? What's happening is that something is flowing through you, and there's a certain intelligence in life that actually does create our experience, whether we're conscious of it or not. Now, how do you prove this to yourself? Well, if you have an idea, what is it that's allowed? Like, how do you move your hands right now? How do you move? How do you walk? Something is moving through you. There's a deeper intelligence. Now, obviously, you can say you're doing that, but also you could also, not in a way where you're giving away your power, but you're humble enough to understand that your ego is not doing everything. It's not creating the entire process. It's not responsible for everything. You don't need to know how it's all going to happen. You can let that part go. The ego doesn't need to figure that out. What you need to do is know what you want, and then from there, let that universal intelligence flow through you. So that's the second step to this process. You don't need to know how. Trust in that higher part of you that will flow through you to take the right actions. Maybe you don't know necessarily how you're doing it, yet you still are doing it. Maybe you're inspired to go for a walk. Maybe you're inspired to get on the phone with somebody. Maybe you're inspired to switch up the way that you eat. Maybe you're inspired to go do something different. And usually what will happen when you do this, by the way, just to give you a little bit of a preview of what to expect, is that you're going to be doing new things that you've never done before. And at the very least, if not new things completely, the way that you've been doing things are going to be different, or at least at the very least slightly different each time that you do them. So there's going to be a newness in the experience, because when you let go of knowing the how to, what's happening is that now you've let go of controlling things with your ego, right? You've let go of trying to figure it all out with your egotistical mind and logical mind and looking up structures that other people have followed. Maybe there is a part of you that life wants to flow through you to go find out what somebody else has done and then find out what works for them, and then to take it if it resonates and use it as your own. But you have to let that universal intelligence flow through you and not be too logical about it. Logic is good. Now the thing is that you don't even lose logic once you start to do this. I'm not saying to drop your logic and to not be logical. In fact, you're going to be extremely logical, because you're going to be able to make grounded physical decisions based on what's actually happening and what's real, versus loops and ideas and fear-based mentalities that have nothing to do with what's happening right now. Nothing. And very unlikely that those fears are going to manifest as well. Usually we're very scared. So what you want to do, the second step once again, is to let life through you and let that higher force guide you to help you manifest what it is that you truly want. Now the third and final step to this process of how to manifest what you want without knowing the how is to feel your way into the manifestation. Feel your way into what you want versus think your way into it. See, you can be logical. I'm not saying not to be logical. I post videos every single day. I'm an extreme logical person. I'm very structured in certain ways as well. In some ways I'm not structured, and I let my intuitive capabilities guide me, that those higher intuitive capabilities that we all have within us, that I believe every single person has. But the key to manifesting things without knowing the how is to tap into that deeper force within you, that deeper intelligence, where you can feel your way into what it is that you want. You can feel your way into what it is that you prefer. And you don't need to be focusing on the how. You don't need to be knowing the logic, because there's many things in my life where I didn't even know how I was doing it. I didn't know what the process was going to look like, yet it still happened. See, when somebody decided that they were going to go to the moon, they didn't know how they were going to do it, but they made a decision. And when you make a decision to go in a certain direction, when you make a decision to go somewhere and you know that you're going to do it, but you don't know how, watch how your mind will start to look out and you'll start to attract things. And you do, I say I'm tracking it because you are attracting it, but in some people's perspectives, they don't really resonate with that. You basically got to see that you attract what you think about. Whatever you surround yourself with, you will become. Whatever you think about, you will find. What you look for in life, you will find. And you don't need to know how. You need to set the intention. You have to know what you want and then see what happens, right? I remember when my friend wanted a Mustang GT, he wanted to manifest a Mustang GT. We saw 5 Mustang GTs that day in comparison to one. I've never even seen those cars because I never paid attention to them. Were they always there in my realm of consciousness? Sure, absolutely, most likely yes. But did my consciousness tune into them? Did I notice them? Absolutely not, because I wasn't looking for them, and that's not what I wanted. That's not what I was open to receiving, but he was, and I was in his energy field. I was within his consciousness field, and he wanted that. So I kind of tuned into his energy field because we were talking about Mustang GTs, and there were 5 Mustang GTs that we saw that day. And that was just us trusting our feelings prior to setting an intention to see those cars. And I didn't set the intention, he probably did, but I was within his field and I was thinking about it, and it was on my mind, and then there it was, and we saw many of those cars. But the key is to set the intention, know what you want, let it go, and then trust in those higher intuitive capabilities. but you have to be committed in a certain direction. I'm not just saying to loosely trust your feelings and have no structure. I'm saying to find that structure that personally works for you, that comes as a result of you trusting in those deeper feelings, And I say feelings in that way because it's not really a feeling, it's something that flows through you that even transcends your feelings, right? You're kind of committed in a certain direction, and then you merge and you become one with what you prefer, but again, you don't know how. You're just allowing it to happen. You're almost, I think Abraham Hicks, she calls it receiving mode, right? You want to step into that receiving mode where you receive those thoughts. Where do your thoughts come from? You don't know, if you're honest. Your thoughts come from your higher self. They come from nowhere. They pop into your experience. Trust that the right thoughts, that the right ideas will pop into your mind. And then from that space, you'll take the right action. And then from that space, you'll feel how you want to feel. And then from that space, you'll be flowing and you won't even know how you're doing it, yet it's still happening in front of you. You're seemingly not knowing how it's happening, yet it is happening. And that's how you manifest without knowing how, is you trust yourself fully, you trust that consciousness and that intelligence will flow through you and it will happen, and you don't need to be thinking about it yet, it will be happening. And if you do need to think, it will pop in and you can let it go and continue to let that flow happen, and then you'll manifest exactly what you want and you'll see it happening. This is incredibly powerful, and if you start to do this, what you'll notice is that the manifestation process can be so much easier than we believe it to be, because you start to notice that you don't need to be overly logical. See, overly logical thinking keeps us stuck energetically and doesn't allow the energy to move forward. And then too little logic and we just trust our feelings, we become very fragmented and we're not focused on what we want. But if you find that middle way, if you find that middle point energy, what you'll find is that everything that you want comes to you in an extremely powerful way, where you're focused on what you want, yet you're not in resistance to what you don't want. It might be popping up, those fears might pop up, but you're not in resistance to those things and you're still focusing on what you want. And that's that universal consciousness, unconditional loving each thing. You're focused in that direction committedly. Your life energies are committed in that direction, yet you're almost ignoring or just not giving energy to the things you don't prefer. And that is exactly how you manifest what you want without knowing how. And with that, I conclude this video. Leave a comment down below if this video was supportive for you or if it resonated for you in some way. Also, please hit that like button for me so that more people can get access to this content, because I do believe that every single person on this planet does deserve to know that they are the creators of their reality and that they can manifest their reality and do so in the most effortless and easy way possible, helping themselves and helping others in the process as well. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, once again, hit the link that's in the description box of this video. It's also going to be in the comments of this video as well. I am only taking a few clients, so if you do want to work with me and have an opportunity to do so, be sure to apply as soon as possible. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next